right, everybody, because today we'll be interviewing one of the most dynamic,
Yet laid back,
flamboyant,
yet relatable.
fashion icons in the Philippines.
Ladies and gentlemen, one third of dare we say the most fashionable and in vogue siblings, Vince
Vince
Oy.
Oy.
Hello po.
Hi, how are you,
Hello
Pa?
po.
Can you hear us, Pa?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your generosity. And we know you're busy, Pa, so let's dive in. So here's what we're gonna do, Pa. We'll do a couple of serious questions, and then we'll do the fun questions afterwards.
Okay, sige.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
so for our first serious question po, it's mainly about, we always want to start it po with something about our advocacy po. So to increase our impact as education ambassadors po, we launched an initiative that provides STEM education to students struggling with online distance learning, and a mentoring program po that helps students obtain admission, scholarship, and succeed in college po in the Philippines, South Korea, US, and basically abroad po. My question is, if someone asked to be your apprentice or mentee and learn everything, just pick your brain po, learn everything that you know, what would you teach them po?
My God, ang dami. Well, actually, I think number one is discipline is very important. I find that, in my years of work and in my line of work, and I think in any line of work, discipline is very important. You have to be able to create a routine for yourself. Like you wake up, you do this, you do that. Routines help, especially now, no, that we are, sheltering in place. A lot of people are working from home. I think routine is very important, and I think it establishes also your discipline. Like at this time you start this time you start this. So I think discipline is number one. I would also say that practice makes perfect. You don't wake up perfect, and there's no such thing as perfection. It's a continuous journey. So for me, it's always practicing. I find that I improved my craft by I just keep on practicing and learning from my mistakes, learning how to improve, and know how to take criticisms. I think that's very important. Criticisms really help you improve your craft. It makes you also take a step back, to look at your work and to see how you can improve it, and there is always room for improvement. I think for me, when you become complacent, I think that's scary.
yeah.
There's a certain there's a certain thrill pa rin eh. Even for me now, na parang I still get anxiety when I'm presenting, when I'm meeting, when I'm
Like you
about
still
to
get
present
nervous.
a paid to a client. Yeah, and it helps. It keeps you grounded. So I think those are the things that I learned, I guess, in my years of work.
Yeah. Speaking of criticism, social media thrives on intolerance, hate, and sensationalism. Successful people like you know this, and simply say, "So what?" at everything. What is your message to Generation Z so they will learn how to say these blunt and powerful words, move on, and kick ass in life?
Kasi for me, I think a lot of it has to do with where you are, how you are sure of yourself. I think it has to stem from that, because if you're not sure of your beliefs, if you are not sure of, kumbaga, anything in social media is should be secondary. It shouldn't really
Yeah.
dictate what your beliefs are. Alam mo yun? So, if you have a very strong, I guess, sense of belief, but that goes to say that you have to know the facts. You have to know, everything has to be factual. So then you know where you are. You know that you're in the right path. That you're in the right. I think that in itself is I think key. to be able to move on. Kasi at the end of the day, alam mo yun, if you know the truth, I think that is, I think, enough for you to be able to thrive in social media. And at the end of the day, for me, I also want to go back lang to the fact that social media started naman as a form of expression,
Yeah.
and we should look at it also from that way. Na it's not just, we shouldn't look at the ugly side of social media. There is still that positive side of social media, which is it is a legitimate form of self-expression, I think, and I think that's also the beauty of it. Alam mo yun?
Yes,
It only depends on how you look at it. If you also position yourself as, this is my way of self-expression, I would ako advise to always stay on the positive realm of things
Yeah, look at
than
the
the
positive.
negative.
I wanted to ask lang po because it's very interesting. I have a few friends po, especially around my age po, because of our age, how we're so exposed to social media. At least for a time po, for me personally, it was whenever I went through social media and then I'd see all these posts po about how people are going to these places, how they're doing these things, they're enjoying so many things in life. They're going to do so many things, so many good things, so many bright things po. But then there's, I think, a cynical side to people po, is they start to question themselves because of how good they see others have it. At least for a time po, that's sort of how I looked at it. And being really anyone with influence po, especially someone like you po, who has a lot of influence in real life and in social media, I just wanted to ask Paul, like, what do you do, or what can you say to people so that, as if to say, like, it's okay to not have this sort of lifestyle that they have? Paul?
I think for me, yun nga, you have to have a good sense of self and a grasp of reality. I think there's also, merit in being in social media. Like for example, you go to social media for inspiration,
Yeah.
to feel inspired, and also to learn a lot of things, especially now that social media, the landscape has changed. Before it was just, again, self-expression, but now you go there to learn how to cook, maybe learn how to.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, it's just, I guess, being able to balance living your life and also living in the social media realm. At this point naman, I think we all know, like, kasi ako, I was in a time where filters weren't even a thing. Like,
Yeah.
you guys grew up knowing about filters, knowing how to, like how an instant filter will make you look good, right? So I guess that is the difference. Kasi ako, during my time, parang it was unheard of. Like Photoshop wasn't unheard of, diba? But that's part of our reality now, eh. So I guess to answer your question, I guess that's to not forget about your real life. I think that's very important.
The new Netflix hit Emily in Paris is a lesson in influencer marketing. If you were given the chance to be Vince in Paris and provide the Asian point of view about all things social media, what would you teach them about content creation, influencer marketing?
You know what? Actually, for me, I think the number one thing that I can teach is to be very authentic, to be very true to yourself. I think a lot of people, as you mentioned, nga, Nigel, like, we're all used to seeing perfect images. But that perfection becomes empty if there's no authenticity behind it. That image, a beautiful image without a story, is just a beautiful image. So you have to be able to communicate a story, an authentic one at that, to be able to be effective. For me, I find that the most authentic story are the ones that are most interesting, because they're not cookie cutter. Hindi siya parang templated, And for me, I think also a very good direction when it comes to branding is find a unique point of view. What is a point of view that people don't necessarily talk about but makes sense somehow? And I think that will get a lot of people more engaged. I think a very unique, authentic point of view is something that ako, for me, I always look for also when I'm like browsing, when I'm also like brainstorming with my team. Yun, I think those are the two things that I can share. Because for me, I don't even want to dwell about being an Asian because I would like to think that we live in a global world already, that we don't even need to prove ourselves. We're all equals. So for me, it's more about just really sharing an authentic point of view. Maybe as a Filipino, yes, that would work, diba?
So you have to stay authentic. Authenticity is very important, and unique point of views is really
A
important.
unique perspective, yes, definitely.
Everyone who uses social media develops a social media personality. But I guess that's stemming from one of our previous questions. But it's both a reflection of how you want others to see you, and also how others see you based on your social media activity. And everyone has their own personal armor that they show online through social media. But understanding why you choose the images and information you post is super critical for the self-awareness. So
Yes.
my question po is, do you have any advice on how to draw the line between being fake and trying something on as a new way to present yourself to the world? So how do you distinguish po something that's just completely fake or another form of self-expression?
You know what? That's a very, very good question. For me, kasi in my line of work, no, um, creating good visuals is part of my work. Like creating interesting visuals, striking images. If there's one thing that I learned with that, is that for me, I think your point of view is very important. Number one, no. And what you want to portray will be reflected with your point of view. So, for example, if for me, kasi I find the most authentic voices, no. Still, kumbaga parang for me, if I see a beautiful image, that's an add-on na already to an authentic voice. There are a lot of authentic people out there with good imagery. I mean, you cannot. So for me, it's not. You can't say that someone is faking it just because their images are beautiful. You get it. So it's for me. It's really how you, I think, also stay consistent with your messaging, with who you are. Consistency kasi is also something that's very hard to maintain if you're not if you're faking it, kasi for me, like ako, I've been in publishing for quite a while, and and part of if you're working in a magazine, you have to come up with an issue every month, and you have to come up with a consistent imagery of that issue. Diba?
Creativity.
So, so parang it has to be consistent. So I think dun yung difference, no? Kasi also, for me, to be honest, it's really part na kasi of our culture. Social media is already ingrained in our culture. And I think at this point, parang you also have to, like ako, you have to be, kumbaga, in as much as a content producer and as an audience, both of you need to be responsible. Kumbaga, like, for example, as if there's a content producer, he has to be responsible enough to be able to know the limits of what you can communicate. Alam mo yun? And the dangers of what images you portray, diba? Kumbaga, there's a sense of responsibility, but that's two ways eh. As a spectator, I also have to be responsible to myself. So meaning, if I see a post that I feel is damaging to my mental health, I'll just unfollow that person.
Just ignore
It's a
it.
two-way yan eh. It's a two-way street eh, because for me, you also cannot avoid, being exposed to different sorts of people online. So for me, again, it's a two-way thing. As a content producer and as a spectator, you have to also know when to draw the line.
So yeah, that's the final question.
Yep.
I
From
mean,
the serious
serious
questions.
question. So we're gonna play a little game po. It's actually somewhat similar to Vogue 73 questions, but shorter and very, very light for the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, let's start.
So before you start, but just answer po. No need to think about it. Just the
Really?
first thing that comes to your mind. It's much more.
Okay.
Okay.
Quick answers lang to.
Quick
Yes,
answers.
yes.
Okay. So first, what is the best elevator pitch to sell the Vince Oy brand?
Oh my God. Vince is hardworking and has a unique
Woo!
perspective and will get the job done.
You're given the power to end anything. Will you end hunger or hatred?
For me, definitely hatred.
If the Uys could date famous celebrity siblings, would you go for the Hemsworths, the Jonas Brothers, or Harry and William?
Aaron.
Oh my God.
When you
Hemsworth, definitely.
Yeah, same. You're chosen to be the stylist for the most famous and powerful man in our country. How will you address Manny Pacquiao to make him a stylish champion and Vico Soto as the Prince of Pasig?
For me, I would probably go with a really monochromatic look with a fabric that's really easy also to move in, because they need to be able to do their job while looking good.
Yeah. Finish the sentence. For the Kardashians, everything starts with a K. For the Uys, black.
All our names actually start with the letter L. Liz, Lorene, and my name actually starts with an L, but it's my first name. So
First name.
I was called Vince later on, but all my grade school classmates call me by my first name, which is Laurent.
In one Black Mirror episode, social media has taken over our lives and everyone chases after a desirable rating of 5. What score would you give to Kylie Jenner, Heart Evangelista, and Liz Louis?
Oh my God. Okay. For me, I would all give them a 5.
Wow,
Because,
very generous.
there's one common thing. It's that they all represent the woman of today.
Yeah,
the
boss
woman of
babes.
today. Yes, boss babes, well-rounded, and
Yeah.
really, not defined by their image at all. It's they create their own image, and I think that's what women should really aspire to be, is to really own your true self and to not answer to anyone but yourself.
So does social media increasingly dictate social stature? And what is it about social media that it gives so much power over us?
I don't think social media dictates social status. For me, I think it's more of, I would like to think that it's a platform that dictates one's creativity and capabilities. So if you're more creative, then it's showcased more on your feed.
Yeah.
And for me, creativity knows no limits. So whether you are in any kind of social structure, if you're creative enough, you will be able to create amazing content. So for me, I would, there's no social structure behind that.
How do you think the world would be different if advertising didn't exist? And do you think we'd all be less better people wanting less, or is it human nature to want more?
I think it's human nature to want better. I think we always want to be better. And I think that's the reason why advertising exists. It's not because of just purely promoting something, but it's promoting something that's better, to better your life.
If you had to wear one set of clothes for the rest of your life, what would you wear?
Oh my God, one set of clothes.
One set lang.
Okay, linen button-down long sleeves, and either linen pants or linen shorts. Real good linen. Kasi ako,
Very
I'm a
good.
person. I'm a very relaxed, chill person. So for me, give me that and the beach, and I'm
You're
happy.
good to go.
Okay, po. So, apart from the Uys, who do you think are the best dressed siblings in the country?
Daryl and Andre Chang.
Okay, po. So, do you work to live or live to work?
Oh, I work to live.
Okay,
But if
po.
you ask me when I was in my 20s, maybe
Yes.
I would say the other way around.
And they say, po, if you love your work, then it's not work anymore. It's just life.
Yeah.
If you had to wear a mask for the rest of your life, what one would you pick, po?
Okay, that's a funny question. I would choose a plain mask. The mga
Jabberwocky.
Jabberwockies. A
Ano
plain
ba
mask.
talaga?
And, yeah, because so that I can decorate it.
So, if you were a product, what would your tagline be?
Solves all your problems.
Oh, okay. The internet is scheduled to go down forever. You have a week to prepare and download anything from the web you think is necessary to have for the rest of your life. What do you download and why?
I would download music. Only one lang ba? Only one?
Yes, only one.
What kind of music do you listen to po?
Yeah.
What kind of
You know what? My music is so weird because I listen from classical to hip hop to
very eclectic.
rock. So I'm very eclectic with my choices. So it depends on my mood. That's why for me,
I agree.
it's so ano talaga. If you look at my Spotify playlist, it's so weird. They don't belong to each,
Yeah.
with each other.
Turns out 2021 is just as bizarre and unprecedented as 2020. Except it's all good things that keep happening. What are those good things for you?
For me, I think zero hunger.
Mm.
I think for me that would really be, for me it's like an amazing thing. And then equality for all,
Mm.
especially us in the LGBTQI plus. For me, I think to be able to get married to my partner is amazing. So for me, that would also be part of that list. I'm looking forward to a better Philippines, definitely.
So you woke up as the boss of the biggest publishing company in the world, and we're told that you could pick any famous person to be your assistant.
Oh my God.
Who would you choose?
Oh my God, that's so hard. I would choose maybe, alam mo, I have a few. Siguro maybe Edward Enninful because he's the editor of Hello, British Vogue.
Yeah.
So obviously he has connections already. Or I can also choose like a celeb, maybe like Kim K,
Wow.
Lady Gaga, who has connections already. So wala, hindi na ako mahihirapan.
They're powerful.
So yeah, they're powerful already. So parang if I say na, we need to shoot ganito, okay na, wala na silang problem.
So, in one word, po, what do you live for?
Experience. I live for experience because for me that is something that makes my life worth living. Parang for me, it's different experiences, not just the fun, happy ones, but also the not so happy ones.
Your memory is about to be wiped out, completely wiped out, but you could keep one memory of you and your boyfriend together. Which one would you choose?
Oh my God! Again, that's a tough question. But I would say, I guess our first trip in Europe because we were young, broke, and just living life. So parang it's also a fun thing to again experience, right? So parang it's a fun thing to experience.
Are you crying, po?
I know, no.
If you started crying, I'd start crying. It'll be a mess. It'll be a mess. Okay. So for our last rapid fire question, po, I guess it's custom now in our interviews, po. Our last question. Is there any question no one ever asks you that you wish someone would? And if there is a question that comes to your mind, please answer that question po.
Ano ba? Lahat na yata na tanong. Wait. Maybe, what are my weird habits? I think no one has asked me. Because I have a lot. Like I don't know if I'm a weirdo, but I have a lot of weird like habits. Like I sleep with a pillow on my face.
On your face?
Like I cannot sleep without a pillow on my face. Ang weird though, diba? Oh, that's so weird, right? I used to not eat anything black. So that's also weird,
Superstition
right?
thing po?
No, it's like I'm just scared of seeing black things.
Food, yeah. Okay.
So that is also weird. Before, I also didn't eat sushi. I was so scared of sushi. I guess no one has asked me that at all. That para it would be fun because for me, when I say things and people get shocked na, what? You don't do that? You don't do that? Ganun. So para for me,
All have weird habits.
everyone has weird habits.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone. And ako, for me personally, I'm always curious to ask what someone's weird habit. Like you guys, what are your weird habits?
Weird habits.
Yes, whenever I wash my hands, but I have to wash my feet also. I don't know why, but I always wash my feet.
Very hygienic na.
If I wash my hands, I have to wash my feet. I can't do it without.
So for me, that's a fun question, and it's nice to discover a weird side of anyone because it makes you realize that we're all the same. We all have weird quirks, and we're all, so yeah.
I never thought I'd explain that to people. But yeah, those are all of the rapid fire questions, po.
Oh yeah. But thank you so much for your time, for
Thank you
taking
so
the
much.
time out of your busy schedule because we know how busy you are. Yeah, so I guess we just want to say po na, we have great regard for your accomplishments and the stature that you have achieved in your chosen craft is so well deserved. So yeah, thank you sincerely for,
you so
for
much,
sharing
Sarah.
everything, your experiences and your weird habits.
And we hope you had fun, po. We hope you had
Yeah, we
fun.
hope you had fun,
Yeah.
boss.
I had fun, and thank you for thinking of me. It's always fun to have conversations with new people, and meeting.
I'm in love with your art direction, po. Like since Preview Magazine. Yeah, I've been following you on social media. That's why I'm so honored to interview today, po. Fangirl.
I had fun, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, po. And stay safe, po.
Stay safe,
Always.
po.
Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Thank you so much, po. Take care.
Take care, po.
Bye.
Po.